Welcome to Running is Bullshit. I'm Stuart.
And I'm Amy, and you're listening to the podcast that loves to hate running. This is episode 131, and this week we're talking about random pants, water station violence, decapitated animals, slagging off the London Marathon yet again, of course, and a surprising amount of bananas.
Just your standard running podcast.
Yeah.
Fair, really. The kind of stuff we love to talk about. Oh, good news, hypocrisy fans. You know how I've been having a bit of a rant in these openings in the last few episodes. It has all come back to bite me very nicely on the arse. So, again, you know how I've been all respect the distance, do the work and all that? Well, firstly, it looks like man versus horse will now be 24 miles rather than like 2022. They change the course each year, apparently. Didn't know that. And that comes only 3 weeks after my half marathon. So I don't really have time to train for that properly. I mean, I know I can do 24 miles, and it's 24 tough miles as well. But it would have been nice to have some time. I'll have 1 week, basically, to train for that. So good for me. That'll be fun. And then in a twist nobody saw coming, I think I've won a place to run the Paris Olympic Marathon.
What the hell?
I mean, it is not for Team GB, just to put that out straight away. I did enter a competition on a complete whim, instantly forgot about it, and then I've had an email from World Athletics from a real address I've checked from the brand and marketing manager because I looked her up on LinkedIn because I wanted to check this. Seemed like a very dodgy email. It's a real worldathletics.org address. It is from the brand and marketing manager. There's no dodgy link on the email for me to enter my bank details. And you remember me bitching about people getting in the London Marathon ballot and then complaining about it? Yeah, I am doing that. That was my first thought was, oh, shit.
It's so random. Like, when you sent me the screenshot, I thought you were joking when you're like, oh, I guess I'm running the Paris Olympic Marathon. I'm like, ha, yeah. Like, I honestly, I thought it was spam.
No. I think I actually am. So basically, it was a competition. And, I did click a thing, put in my name, send it off, forgot about it. I'm now waiting for an email from the actual marathon organisers to give me my place.
God.
But, so I am doing it and I am complaining about it, but I can give you one fact about it that will 100% justify this complaining. The marathon is on August the 10th and it starts at 9 p.m. A marathon at 9 p.m. And I will bet a high proportion of people who entered the actual ballot for this didn't know that, because that is a fucking bonkers time to start a race. Like, I get they don't want you to run in the midday sun in August, but still. I looked up, actually, the weather for August the 10th last year in Paris. In the evening, feels like 28 degrees.
Right.
And that was actually the warmest part of the day.
It's going to stink. Like, I haven't been to Paris in a long time, but from what I heard, it fucking reeks there. Yeah,
so that will be... I mean, hopefully for the Olympics, they might have cleaned things up a little bit.
I mean, it's Paris. I mean, it's the French. They're going to be like, well, you just have to deal with it.
We don't give a shit.
We don't give a shit.
I am going. If I get this email, I will be going. I will be going purely for the content. And I've been saying for ages, I have no desire to run a road marathon. I will definitely take it seriously. I'm not just going to blag it completely and just turn up on the day. I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to do long runs all fucking summer for this stupid event. And also, because it's France, I need to get a medical certificate. I emailed my doctor's surgery the other day to ask if they could do that. They said that may cost £86.
That's insane.
Yes. That is. I did look back on my club Facebook page, because I know people have talked about it before, and I looked back and someone there was saying it's to do this is not part of a doctor's contract, so they don't have to do it for free. It's not an NHS thing. It's just something they do off their own back, basically. So that's why they can charge you, and they can basically charge you anything for it, because it's not a fixed thing. It's essentially like a private agreement.
But do you have to go and have the checkup then as well? Do you have to have some sort of checkup in order to get the certificate?
I think it depends on the doctor, because the doctor is signing a document that says basically there's no contraindications that running will be an issue for this person. Mm-hmm. So if I have a heart attack, they may potentially have something come back on them. They don't want to put their name on something they don't kind of believe. So I guess I'm probably going to have a basic checkup for them to charge me that as well.
I do wonder, because I knew about this stuff with France, with needing a medical certificate and all that. I do wonder, if there's evidence to show this has cut down the number of people that sort of have heart attacks or medical issues while they're running in France, because it's always seemed like really overcomplicated to me. And like you said, unless your doctor's doing a full-on like ECG and stuff, a lot of stuff can go undetected for ages, and then people just sort of drop dead. So I do wonder whether it's actually maybe in France they do run an ECG on you or something, or properly check. I don't know.
I have heard recently that they want to get rid of it. There are a lot of people in France. I think Italy do this as well, I think to a lesser extent, but I think they do want to get rid of it because it's just too much of a barrier.
Yes, I was going to say, it's
counterproductive. If you're in France and you don't have much money, you want to go and enter a race, you've got to pay money to get a medical certificate as well. Yeah. So it's yet another barrier.
And it's probably better for people's health. You're more likely to have the benefits of running rather than sort of, those people that tragically, just drop dead when doing races because they've got an underlying health condition, like a heart condition or whatever. That's quite rare. It's more likely you're going to get the health benefits from doing the running. So, it's always weighing up those pros and cons. I always think it's mad. I always think it's really too complicated.
Yes. So that is something I now have to sort out, to run a marathon past midnight in Paris in August.
You'll have all the pickpockets chasing after you, make you get a PB, like grab your phone. Yeah.
It is called the Paris Marathon pour tout, which is the Paris Marathon for you. Oh, isn't that nice? That is so lovely.
The end.
And also that they have 20,024 entrants. Because 2024, like 2024 is not the same number as 20,024.
And also,
it's a different number, lads.
Also, work it out just based on your capacity, not a number. Like, just work it out on what's safe and what you can deliver, not some arbitrary sort of just because it's that year. And all those,
it's that year
entries.
with an extra zero.
Yes,
so it's not actually that year.
So all those ballot entries then, or do you have to enter a ballot normally if you have?
Yeah, there was a ballot for it.
Gosh.
Oh, yeah. And also, and there won't be 20,024 on the start line because like 5,000 of those just won't turn up because it's a marathon and that's just what happens. Yeah, definitely. So I bet all the headlines will be like, oh, we had 20,024 people running in Paris. They're like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. So that's something for me to look forward to. That's fucked my summer now. I've got to do long runs all summer now instead of like doing nice things that I was planning to do. So never mind.
Fun.
Good for me.
Let's have a catch up on the last episode. So @YellowMag has been in touch and said, just caught up with this. Feel like I should explain about the free flapjack. So this was the train flapjack, wasn't it? They say I was in first class. Yes, yes, more money than sense, but don't knock it. I support your BS on Patreon. It's mildly threatening.
We don't get flapjacks, to be fair.
No, exactly. Yeah, definitely more money than sense, though, if you're supporting this podcast, for sure.
David YellowMag Teetle just tossing the money around, getting free flapjacks on the train, first class.
Do you still get free stuff in first class, then? I thought they changed that and you have to pay. Gosh.
Literally never had it in my life, so I don't know. We also posted very important lists on Instagram with both of our top 10 animals to see on a run. Jen Danger Harding said she loved marmots before realising we were specifically talking about farmyard animals. I mean, I don't know where she's seeing marmots, and I don't know where she thinks those are farmed, but that's apparently one of her favourite animals. That's a niche answer, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's also great that it's the only thing we agreed on the lists was that geese are bullshit.
Ugh. They are, because they're nasty buggers. And don't they have like a load of little teeth in their beak or something? Like they've got like a serrated edge or something in their beak. I don't like that.
Yeah, dickheads.
Not a fan of that. Jay Wyman says, newborn lambs. This is about animals we love to see on a run. They say, saw hundreds on my run this morning around the hills. Unfortunately, one of the dogs also found a perfectly intact lamb's head. Jesus.
Where was the... what?
That's some cult shit.
That's some nasty stuff there.
Yeah.
I guess it happens.
Yeah, definitely.
Isn't it lovely seeing all the lambs around, though?
It is lovely. Aww. But there is always a risk you see like a dead one that's been like sort of disemboweled by something.
Yeah, that does happen as well. Speaking of which, let's talk about tea. Ooh. We're partnered with Bird and Blend Tea, and that means we'll tell you what tea we're drinking. If you like the sound of it, you can go to runningisbs.com/tea, click on the links and buy some tea if you want. We don't care. Amy, what are you drinking?
Well, I am drinking... So I went into the Cardiff Bird and Blend store. I haven't been in there for ages. And the great thing about the Bird and Blend stores is that they will make you a drink in there. And also, if they're nice, and they're always really lovely. And they'll show you how they make it as well. So if you don't know how to make like a certain latte or whatever, they usually make it in front of you. So I had a raspberry ripple matcha latte, and it was like, it was 10 out of 10. It was 10 out of 10. Would recommend. It was so good. And I have had some of the raspberry ripple one before, and it is nice, but it's always better when somebody else makes it. So if you're in a Bird and Blend store anywhere,
Chef's kiss emoji.
I definitely recommend having a matcha latte and getting them to make it for you. And the raspberry ripple one was amazing. Other thing is that the buttermint matcha is back in stock. So it's back on the website. It was in the store as well. I picked some up, so I've got a buttermint matcha latte this evening, and it's very, very, very nice. It's very good. It was limited edition, but I do wonder now whether they're just going to keep stocking it, because last time I went in, I asked about it, and it was out of stock, and they told me it's a limited edition. They said loads of people have been in asking for it, so I do wonder whether it's just going to be a regular thing now. So yeah, it's very nice. I love buttermint matcha.
Nice. Someone else that's also been into the Bird and Blend shop is Gareth Barker, who one of his purchases was the dark choc chili chai, which is one of my all-time favourites. But I would recommend, if you're going to go to the shop, get a drink from there, get them to make it for you, and then go home and buy it online and use our link, because otherwise we don't get paid. It's like, you all do it with shoes, let's be honest.
They're still getting the money. They're still getting
if you could do it for that as well, that'd be terrific. Yes, fine. I've just had some more maple bacon pancake, which is nice, which I think isn't on the website generally, but if you sign up, you can get access to the secret website, and I think there's still a little bit on there. So, what have you been up to, Amy, other than drinking tea?
Ooh, I've done a long run. A long run has happened.
Ooh.
I know, yeah. So I went for a long run. We were talking about this before recording. I think I was in the Avon Valley. I don't know where I was. I was somewhere up. Yeah, somewhere up above Port Talbot. Somewhere up there. But it's very nice around there. There's some.
So not actually a valley then.
It's kind of a valley. But
I mean, if you were up top, you weren't really in a valley.
No, I wasn't in the actual valley. Yeah, I was at the top. I think probably. I don't know. There wasn't much elevation on this run, so no, I probably was just along the top. So yeah, it was really nice. It was just like forest and fire track and stuff, and it was very runnable, very nice. Lots of wind turbines, so I enjoyed that. They weren't on, unfortunately, so that's not fun. But
I mean, at least that made it less windy for you.
Yeah.
That's handy.
Exactly, it was nice.
Sometimes when they really turn the wind on really high, it can be quite tough to run up there.
Yeah, I rang in advance and said, I'm doing my long run, can you just turn them off? And it was very still, it was nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so yeah, that was really lovely. I stole the route. I think I've said this before, my favourite feature about Strava Premium, or whatever they call it, the paid for version, is that you can take other people's routes and download them and put them on your watch, and I find it amazing. I've become like a route pirater. I just take people's routes willy-nilly.
And also, you learn the best way to run to people's houses as well. That's really useful.
Exactly, they're the best routes. Which end in sort of an unexpected visit. But this was one of our previous podcast guests, Ben Jones's routes. So I have most of his routes saved because I'm a creepy stalker, but also he does some amazing routes. So yeah, thank you very much to Ben. I did say thank you to Instagram, and he replied and said, I've never been there before. And I said, yes, you have. I've been watching your Strava. I think it was just raining when you went and you couldn't see anything. So that was lots of fun, really nice. And then this week I've been in London for work, went for a run in London, but I like to go at 6 a.m. so the roads, the streets were dead. It's an amazing time if you're in London, because I'm not a fan of crowds and stuff, so I didn't fancy running any later than sort of 8 a.m. But yeah, went for a really nice touristy run in London. Went from Covent Garden around to Buckingham Palace, Westminster, all that sort of thing. Down the Mall.
Such a tourist
as well.
wanker run, isn't it?
Yeah, down the Mall. Saw them all setting up for the London Marathon. But I think this is a better way to see it. Like, fuck the London Marathon. Just go to London, get up at 5 a.m, do a run. You know? You see everything.
Or just don't go to London at all.
Yeah. But if you have to go to London, like 5 a.m.
If you really have to.
And I've said this before, no one smiles or says hello to you, you know? No one does. It's just like, you know, cold, heartless Londoners. But yeah, it was good. So that's it really. That's been my week. Nothing particularly interesting has happened.
No.
How about you?
I need you to get a bit more drama back, please.
I know.
That was fun. I went to support a Manchester Marathon the other weekend. I had quite a nice time. I couldn't support on the course as much as I wanted to because the trams were just absolutely solid with people. Because I thought, like everyone else, I'll just get a tram down to Altrincham. That'll be easy. But of course, thousands of other people were doing that. So I went and had breakfast and 2 pots of tea instead in Chorlton, which is a lovely little high street. And just like the whole street was just like smelling of bacon from all the cafes. So I feel sorry for all the runners coming through at like 24 miles. But it was nice to watch. I managed to walk the last 2 miles or so of the course, saw plenty of people that I was supporting, shouted out some local running clubs. I do quite like that. I do quite like shouting out local running clubs. I'm sure everyone has been doing that. At the London Marathon, you kind of spot the clubs that are close to you. Even in London Marathon, all of a sudden you're like, yay, it's that club who I really have no relationship with, but I recognise the shirt. Yeah, I recognise the vest, so I'm happy. I do like that. That is a good thing about the London Marathon. It's fun. I also played football the other day. I played proper 11-a-side football, which is great. And the best thing is, managed to keep my watch on for the whole game. And there's against Strava Premium, you can edit the map to a heat map. So I've got like a proper heat map of where I was on the pitch rather than just like a squiggly line. So that makes me feel like a professional.
Very nice. Love it.
The best I did basically was a really scuffed cross, which the keeper collected, which I guess might count as a shot on target. I think.
I have no idea what any of that means. So
yeah, I'm going to take that as a success. I mean, we won, so that was the main thing. It was a work thing, so let's not talk anything more about that. Now, we've had the most important message of the week has come from Kat Abigail Hardman, our failed pheasant correspondent. She sent this literally to the second as I closed the final window after publishing the last episode. I thought, fantastic timing, great, thanks for that. She said, hello both. I need to message whilst my ire is high. I have just finished Brighton Marathon with Gabby Thomas-Nair and we saw the usual sights. Bleeding nipples, a human disco ball, some highly alarming compression shorts that were basically a gynecological event. But this is not raising my ire. Oh no. We did not even get a banana at the finish line. I do these races for 2 things only. Free safety pins and bananas. I feel robbed.
Maybe you need to do more of your races in 1987 if you want a banana at the end.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, we'll get to that. This, of course, did not stop here. She continued on to inform us that the London Marathon, who now also run the Brighton Marathon, will not be giving any food at all at the finish line. She went as far as providing a screenshot of the accounts of the London Marathon events group, which showed a £6.6 million profit last year. And 5.6 million the year before, but they're still unwilling to give runners any snacks at all, even though they could probably get them sponsored or even free. She estimated 45,000 bananas from her local Morrison's would cost around £7,000. So it's clearly been a slow week for Kat.
Yeah, if you're looking at the London Marathon accounts.
To figure out how much money they're making and like to provide no food at all, I think is really shitty because Manchester was the same, no snacks at the finish, and like that's pretty much the 3 biggest marathons in the country, isn't it? Brighton, Manchester, and London. They're the ones I hear people talk about the most. There is no food at the finish lines for any of them. I think that's really shitty.
And surely, like they say, surely companies would give them the food for free as a sponsorship,
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming
just pay for it. They're making £6 million.
Yeah, but also like when you get a goodie bag from, or you use, like I said, I haven't done road races in ages, but when you used to get like a goodie bag from like a road half marathon, and there was like really random food in there, I assumed that was donated, like not donated. I assumed that was like a marketing thing for those companies.
Yeah, surely.
Like I don't really, like I said, bananas. I haven't seen bananas at races in a long time, but.
No, Cardiff Half has always got piles and piles of bananas
piles
at the
of bananas,
end.
Yeah. Probably like I say, because I don't do road racing. I'm just sort of used to ultras where they just, usually it's the food that is from they usually have a bit of a buffet at the end of an ultra, but also the food that hasn't been eaten from the checkpoints as well all comes to the finish line, which is nice. So I'm used to that. Yeah. But yeah, that is stingy.
It is really stingy. I'm sure they'd probably say things like, obviously logistically it's a very hard thing to do to get all that food there, and they'd probably say, there's potential allergens and things like that we want to avoid, which probably is what they'd use as an excuse, but it's just fucking stingy when they made £6 million in profit. It's after tax profit, £6 million, and they're not kind of willing to put that, and they made more money than they did last year, and they're apparently not willing to put that into helping out the runners a bit more, and it still costs £70.
Do you not get a bag at the end of a race anymore with like stuff in?
Don't know.
Does that not happen? Because that's where you put your food.
No, it doesn't. No, actually, yeah, I've not had one of those for a little while. No, generally it's like most of.
It doesn't have to be plastic, does it? It could be like a little paper bag if they're worried about that. But like a little paper bag with like a packet of crisps in, some flyers and shit, and then those like little free things that companies give for marketing reasons. Like
Yeah, like a little leaflet for a local garage.
I still fondly remember the Swansea Half years ago, 2015 I think it was, and I got an amazing goodie bag at the end with all little like chocolate and stuff in it, some painkillers, and they probably...
Yeah, I used to do like little videos every now and then of like the goodie bag review, but I don't think I've had one in like a good 5 years. Again, I don't do that many road races. But usually it's like a bottle of water and a banana, at least. I mean, that's fine. That'll get you through. That's something to eat, especially at the end of a marathon.
Yeah.
You just need something to eat.
It's kind of shitty. If you were being sort of cynical about it, you'd think, well, these race villages have food outlets and stuff. Maybe it's to make you go and buy stuff from the food outlets. But yeah, I just think it's a shitty thing.
People aren't buying hot dogs because they get a banana at the end. I don't think that's the case.
Mm-hmm. Matt Lees also happened to be in touch as well about the Paris Marathon and said there was bananas and cake at the end and at every aid station along the way.
Oh, cake at an aid station's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to that at midnight.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
Now, as I said, like the logistics of providing food and that much at the end of a race is difficult. It's a huge, complicated, and expensive race to put on the London Marathon. But to make that much profit is not an accident. You don't accidentally make £6 million a year. They must be planning to make a decent profit. And that's why I worry when I see London Marathon buy half of Run for Wales, for example. They have the Cardiff half and some other local big 10Ks, as well as the Brighton Marathon and lots of the big London events like Vitality 10,000, Westminster Mile, the big half. That's all London Marathon as well. And I've just heard that UTMB have bought the Arc of Attrition and they're putting a race in the Lake District. UTMB as well. So, and it makes me kind of worry for those medium-sized race companies that do a really good job, but are just starting to be bought out. Like eventually every race is going to be the London Marathon or UTMB, and I just don't like it at all.
Yeah. No, I don't like the vibe anymore. Like I said, when I was new to running, I used to like the vibe of those big races. It felt quite safe in a way.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's a big fun. It's an event. It's a proper event. It's a big exciting thing.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and I get it. I get why people like that, but it's not me anymore. I don't like the hype. I don't like all the capitalism around it. Like when you sign up, it's like, do you have an inspiring story for running this? Like, no. Yeah. Piss off. Right?
Yeah. If I can pay £5 for a fell race and get like a thing of chips at the end, I'm pretty sure London Marathon can, for £70, can figure out how to get me a snack.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking about giving money and not getting much in return, getting ripped off. On to our Patreon. You can support this podcast by going to patreon.com/runningisbullshit and donating money every month. New to the list this month is Catherine Brown.
Cheers, Catherine Brown.
Yeah. A shout out from Jen Danger Harding to Angela Foster Swales, who saw your name on a race entry list and got very excited as you're one of her favourite names that we sing. There you go. Now you're friends.
We've made friends with people. That's good.
Oh,
good for them. Let's say if Amy's done a good job of singing Angela's name in this.
Claire Davis, Dawn Shepherd, Matt H, Graham Hackland, Len Martin, Catherine Fenton, Matt Gazowski, Ruth KP, Kat Abigail Hardman, Elliot Lyne, Matt Garner, Mark Willis, Tony House, Raymond Quinn, Tom Alcock, Maria Wicks, Victoria Dick, Martin Josie, Gail Seal, Manu Bree, Matt Burrows, Sophie Nichols, Gregory C, Adam Baker, J. Catherine Brown, Richard Skine, Lisa Gibbon, Rachel Bullmore, Jayton Nesby, Julia Page, Clark Gilmore, Larry Warren, Debbie Hurley, Stuart Stevens, David Irwin, David Tittle, Alice Noosa, Karen Milligan, Matt Jones, Ian Thompson, Noms Dawson, Francis Howe, Charlie Nevison, Carl Fleming, Kath Everett, Gary Bernadette McCarthy, Daniel Braun, Steve Robson, Anthony Howe, Karen Blake, Matt Caffin, Drew Edwards, Neil Denton, Kiara Evans, James Lampert, Gordy Thirlwell, Nikki Genders, Victoria Magnus, Victoria Cousins, Rachel Bentley, Martin Kaplan, Amanda Murray Hines, Jay Howe, Sandra Hines, Cherie Kinnison, Gabby Thomas Naya, Claire Dina, Luke Daniel, Elizabeth Rees, Karen Hamilton Matthews, Kel Ryder, Lee Wood, Nikki Jones, Angela Foster Swales, Spencer Aldred, Paul Hibbert, Sherry Grubbs, HP, AP, Elizabeth Shaban, Erin Shaw, Ian Hale, Vicky Robbins, Andy Robbins, Penny Simpson, Jonathan Carter, Sophie Jacks, Andy Nichols, Cheryl Curran, Adriana Rand, Jason Spinks, Brian Simpson, Shambolic Adult, Shambolic Adult, Shambolic Adult.
Don't forget to get in touch with your running bullshit on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Just search Running is BS. Let us know why you particularly hate running this week. We feed off your misery, so we want to hear all about it. An email from Callum Burrell, who said, "Hi there, Stuart and Amy. I'm sure I'm not the only one who experiences this particular issue. When trying to ask Alexa to play your podcast, it seems the phrase 'running is BS' is a struggle, as highlighted by the enclosed recording."
Alexa, ask Spotify to play Running is BS podcast.
Playing A to Z running from Spotify. Resuming cross-country, track, and road racing with Zach Palin.
No. Alexa, ask Spotify to play Running is BS podcast.
Playing Running is BS from Spotify. Resuming the latest episode. Number 130. Bragging about things you haven't done yet is...
Thank you.
I did reply to Callum and just said, you could just press like 2 buttons on your phone and that would just be easy, wouldn't it?
Oh no.
No.
We don't press buttons. We just tell the digital assistant to do it for us.
See, this problem when I go to my sister-in-law's house, they're like, some rooms don't have light switches, and so when we're trying to figure out how to turn some of the lights on, we're like, dining room light on, big light on, kitchen light. What is it called? I don't know what they've called it. Why can't I just press a button? God, I'm old.
I know, that would be too simple. David Irwin has also been in touch and said the Brampton Valley Way Challenge, struggled big time on this and had to engage my inner Amy to complete it. That's really interesting. What does that mean?
To me, I would think that means him just not turning up to it at all.
I was going to say, I had to engage my inner Amy to complete it. Like, those two things don't go together. Engaging it inner Amy is like, oh, fuck it, it's fine. We've gone this far.
Or 5 days before, just being like, you know what, nah.
Yeah. I do want to do the Brampton Valley Way Challenge. Like, I do want to do that at some point. I think I was signed up to it at one point and couldn't do it for whatever reason. That was my inner Amy not doing it. But it's in my old stomping ground, which is Market Harbour, which is where I went to school. So I would love to go and do that, obviously, from the Market Harbour end. So, yeah.
Nice. Gabby Nayet says, there are stories to tell. Losing one's boxers in the grounds of a medieval castle suggests that the walk took a spicy turn. Disclaimer, not my underwear. With a photo of a pair of pants just by a wall in a castle.
I love that. I love like random items of clothes. They're often pants, aren't they?
Or just one sock.
On a trail somewhere. Yeah. The other day on the Ely Trail, there was a pair of boots that looked quite new that had been very neatly just put on the side of the trail. It was really odd because they look quite new. So yeah, just like random articles of clothing I always find quite
there's when we do our Thursday night trails in north of Cardiff, there's for a couple of weeks now, there's just been a jacket hanging on a tree. It's like just hung up, I don't know, like someone's taken off, it's like quite a big padded jacket. It doesn't look like it's torn up or anything or dirty. It's just hanging on a tree, and it's like perhaps it's just there just in case. I don't know.
That reminds me, I had a random number ring me the other day, and I didn't answer it because who answers
no, of course.
random numbers? I went through to voicemail. I listened to the voicemail, and it was this guy, and apparently he'd found one of Pippin's dog tags in Hensel Forest, which must have been Pippin. I lost Pippin's dog tag like months and months and months ago when we were running in Hensel Forest, and he'd found it, and he'd rang the number on it and said, "I found a dog tag with Pippin on it. I'm leaving it at the community centre," like that. And I was like, "How lovely that he's done that." But yeah, lost it months ago, and he must have. And when I say months ago, it must have been 6 months ago now that I lost this tag. And he's obviously found it on the trail because she didn't go off the lead, so it would have been on the trail somewhere. And he found it.
You didn't say like, did you find the dog? Where's Pippin?
Thing is, I was in London at the time, and when I answered the phone, when I listened to the message, he was like, "Hi, I found a dog tag with Pippin on." I'm like, "What?
Shit.
What?" He's like, "In Hensel Forest." I'm like, "What?" No, Pippin was at home. This was a tag that was lost many months ago.
That's nice.
Quite interesting. Yeah, very nice, very nice. I'm probably not going to bother picking it up, but yeah. At IJ Hales says, "Great to hear Amy came to Stoke Park. That's my local running ground. Went to say hello to the goats myself today. They are definitely not bullshit. What was bullshit was my headphones warning me literally every 60 seconds for 30 minutes, low battery and not just shutting up." Oh,
That is annoying. I mean, mine only does it for 10 minutes and then it'll turn off. But mine, when it's sometimes really distracting. If you just listen to a podcast and then it'll just go a little bit quiet and say, "Charge me." And it's just this tiny little thing in your ears.
That was perfect. That was how have you done that so perfect?
That's my talent.
That is insane. Is that after?
Yeah, it's just because it's so quiet and it's so just like soft in the background. So the first time you're like, "Wait, what was that? Who what?"
Yeah. I have aftershocks. That is perfect. I'm getting like a bit of like PTSD from that. Like, oh shit, I'm only a mile into my long run.
And 10 minutes later it's fucked. That's the problem then. If I'm on a walk or something, like, I'm walking quick, I'm running quick now because I do not want to be left to my own thoughts.
No,
that is the worst possible thing.
That is like triggered a bit of anxiety in me. Yeah. But also on the topic of goats, IJ Hales, if that's your local stomping ground, like, can you go up to the goats and stroke them? Are they friendly goats? I've only seen them from a distance because it was raining and they were sheltering from the rain. But I looked on Instagram and there's pictures of people touching the goats. Can I touch the goats there? Are they friendly? Are they not? Please get back in touch and let me know. This is very important.
Yeah, this is what this podcast is for, after all.
Yeah, can I touch the goats?
We have had a message from the notorious JBG, as I call him and no one else does. He says water station violence is bullshit. So he got to one of the water stations at the recent Paris Marathon, and he said, "As I came in to pick up a bottle, someone came up on my inside and shoved me out of the way. Then rather than taking a bottle and moving on, he just kept pushing me away from the water.
Oh my God.
With limited time and space left to get one, I had to essentially stop and cut in behind him. I subsequently recognised him from the race photos. His name is Pascal, and yes, I want him named. I could also look up his result and see that I went on to beat him by 8 minutes. From his splits, it looks like he blew up spectacularly and had a miserable time."
Yeah,
that is an excellent level of pettiness there.
Yeah, that's awful. I would actually complain if that was me. If somebody was physically shoving me. How dare they?
That's ridiculous. But perhaps Pascal should have took some water because perhaps he would have had a better time. But at least Johnny went on to beat him. That was good. He said he actually won a competition to run the Paris Marathon, which was great. I also received some really nice kit from Asics. The only small problem was the vest they gave me was the same they gave the pacers. I had to explain to a lot of French people that je ne un passeur both before and during the race. Otherwise, I had a great time.
God.
That's so annoying.
God, yeah.
Just running along and people coming up beside you in French asking like what time you're doing or something.
Yeah.
Like, no, go away.
Leave me alone. How'd you say piss off in French?
And Johnny trying to say je ne un passeur in his thick Yorkshire accent would have been very funny, and that's what
Je ne passeur.
See, you've got it as well. What impressions going on this podcast? Absolutely perfect. So again, would love to hear your shitty stories from marathons and people being dick at water stations. That's always funny.
Definitely. Something to prepare for Paris.
Oh, yes. I'm ready for Pascal.
You're ready for Pascal?
I think Pascal might finish a bit ahead of me, to be fair. But
you're going to be training by doing long runs, but also doing Mai Tai as well.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Wait, do you mean the cocktails?
Yeah. Is the bullshit running? Of course, we've got to talk about the hardest geezer.
Ugh.
I mean, okay.
I just cringe when I hear the name.
I know. I'm sure everyone's heard of the hardest geezer at this point because he's been doing this run across Africa, the length of Africa. I just hate the name hardest geezer. I think it's like really blokey, like, yeah, I'm the hardest. I just hate it. Amazing achievement, but I fucking hate that name. But yeah, amazing achievement. But a row has erupted over his claim of a record run across Africa. So Russ Kirk, the hardest geezer, claims to be the first person to run the full length of Africa, but that has been disputed by the World Runners Association, who said it was first achieved 14 years ago. So Russ completed the challenge whenever it was it last Sunday
last
or
week,
Sunday
yeah.
before? Last week, yeah. So he reached the finish line at the most northerly part of Tunisia, 352 days, which took him 352 days and was over 16,000 kilometres. And he set off firstly from the southern tip of South Africa, so he was running up Africa sort of near the coast. He's also raised over £700,000 for charity, so fantastic. And you probably saw in the news that he's faced several scares that sort of threatened his run, including an armed robbery. So that hit the news. I think that was quite early on into his run. There was an armed robbery. And then also visa complications, a bit of food poisoning as well. You know, no big deal.
Standard holiday.
Yeah. So he's done all this. It's been all over the news, but the WRA claim that one of their members, a Danish man named Jesper Olsen, actually became the first person to run the length of Africa back in 2010. And he did it by travelling from Tabar, sorry if I'm butchering that, Tabar in Egypt to the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa in 434 days. So it was a slightly different route. So Russ's run was 3,400 kilometres longer because he was going like a more coastal route than Olsen's. But the WRA insisted that it did not matter, and they claimed to have contacted him, warning him that Mr. Olsen and two other members, Serge Girard from France and Tony Mangan from Ireland, had also completed the challenge previously.
Oh.
So not only has it already been done in 2010, but it's already been done sort of subsequently by two other members of the World Running Association. Furthermore, there's also a British man named Nicholas Bourne who has come forward to assert his own claim of running the length of Africa. So Bourne became the first person to run from Cape Town to Cairo in 1998, covering over 10,000 kilometres through deserts and war zones. And he was also recognised by the Guinness Book of World Records in 2000 as well. So yeah, it's like, because I keep seeing all this stuff everywhere saying, you know, hardest geezer. This Russ has been the first person to run the length of Africa, but it seems like it's been done before.
I think he can probably still keep claiming that because he ran from the southernmost tip to the northernmost tip, and I think these other ones, they didn't quite do that. They ran slightly different. So one, to Cairo is pretty far north, but it's not the furthest tip, and the Danish man ran from Taba, which is right on like Sinai, right on the southern border with Israel. So we'd have to go run around Sinai through Suez and that way, which is kind of an odd way to go. But that's the thing, like, it depends how much you put into the World Running Association, because if you look at their website, it's like a 2012 WordPress website, and there's basically nothing on it. As soon as they finished, they released a press release to say, we think that this isn't actually the first, because this guy did it first. And I saw an image of that press release, which I shared, and someone asked me, where's the text for this? I'm like, actually, I can't find it. I literally couldn't find the text for a press release. So I don't know where it had been sent. I guess they'd sent it to some news places and they quoted from it. But I couldn't find the full press release. It wasn't even on their website. They don't have any social media. I think it's just like 5 guys across the world who have got a WordPress website and say they're the World Running Association, which I guess is how associations work. You come forward and say, we are the people that will judge all of these things. Because they say in their constitution, they put themselves forward as the body to recognise continental distance runs. So it depends how much kind of trust you put into that organisation. But it does seem that people have done it before, but then none of them did southernmost to northernmost. So I guess he kind of still does have a claim.
Yeah, and it's the furthest, isn't it? So he's run the furthest.
Yeah, because he ran the silly way.
Yeah. probably a silly way, but I don't know whether that's like, I don't know. I was looking at the map and I was thinking, I wonder if he's planned that because it's probably the safest way. Because there's some countries that are quite like known for
all around the coast of Somalia
no-goes.
probably is not a good idea.
Yeah, or like what is it, the Democrat?
To be fair, there's plenty up the
Democratic
other side as well.
Republic of Congo is meant to be like very dangerous to visit. So yeah,
there's plenty that aren't great.
Yeah. So I imagine that was probably the safest way. But yeah, I still think it's like really impressive. And the main thing is like he's raised a shit ton for charity. Like we were talking about charity stuff. Like in terms of raising money for charity, like this is a big thing. He was running every day pretty much, I think. I was following him on Instagram and it seemed like every day he was running and quite significant distances as well. It's just absolutely insane. So
Yeah, it was basically a marathon today.
Yeah. And for however long, 352 days, so almost a year of running every day across Africa.
How'd you get a job after that? What do you do? That's what I don't understand. Like, you go and get a job interview and they say, well, there's a gap in your CV here. I guess people like that just don't get proper jobs, do they? They just, because now he's got such a high profile, he can probably get work from that reputation, I guess.
Yeah, he'll be like sponsored. So he was sponsored during the run. I noticed, like as the run went on, he was being sponsored by Huel. Hoka as well were also sponsoring him. So I don't know whether that was a case of, I don't really understand how sponsorships work, whether they were just providing him like the food and the clothes and stuff, or whether he was also getting some money on top.
Yeah, if you get a high enough profile, I guess people send you stuff, don't they?
Yeah,
and then because you want to get mentioned, and Hoka and Huel want to be associated with this good thing that is happening to make them.
He's got to write a book out of this, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure he's done a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
And he'll do probably a lot of speaking kind of engagements as well. I mean, he's running the London Marathon. I think he's been given a place there.
God, could you imagine? You've just done all that and London's like, oh, come run for us. You'd be like...
No, mate. I want to sit down.
You'd either be like... There's two different ways. You'd either be like, oh, no, I'm knackered. Or you'd be like, yeah, I might as well, because that's all I'm fucking doing now. It's just running. I'm just used to it. My body's
got nothing else.
Yeah, this is all I do now. This is me. So be a walk in the park. So yeah, Hardest Geezer. Hate that fucking name, though.
Oh, it's so cringy.
Fair play to him, but Hardest Geezer. Hate that.
Yeah, someone I was running with a Brazilian friend the other day, and she was asking about that. I'm like, how do I explain what a geezer is? I don't. I was like, it's a very tricky one to get over.
Yeah. Just call yourself Russ. That's a nice name.
It's a lovely
Russ.
name.
Russ runs across Africa. Yeah, it's the alliteration and everything. Ugh. Anyway, Stuart, what you got coming up next?
I'm going very close to Africa, actually. I'm going to Tenerife, literally just to play on some water slides. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're going for 3 days. We're going for 3 nights. 2 days we're going to spend in a water park. And as it turns out, Tenerife are really protesting against tourists at the moment. So
yes, I saw
that's going to be cool. Well, it's not tourists, it's against the government's lack of infrastructure, and like there's people working in hotels who literally live in huts because there's nowhere for them to live, and they're building these 2 new massive complexes, but they're not building any houses for people, so that's great.
But the other thing is that the Canary Islands at the moment really hate British tourists. They don't want British tourists because we're horrific. They want
we are
Dutch and German tourists. So
wouldn't you?
Yeah. That's why I'll learn German and Dutch. I'll just put on a bit of an accent when I go over there, so they don't know I'm British.
I will be sure to tip well and be as nice as I possibly can.
Yeah, go danke.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I'll do that. So I'm going to go and play on some water slides, sit on a plane for a bit, and then I'm going to do a 10k PB. So
Nice.
What better preparation? A week before, 11-a-side football a week before, going on a holiday, and then just whack out a 10k. Why not? Also, and a few days after that, what might be my only mile race of the year, I'll be doing like a few days after that 10k. But I'm absolutely gutted. I'm going to miss one of my favourite trail races because the mile race is usually on a Friday and it moved to Wednesday. And so the trail race is on the Tuesday, so I can't do 3 races in 4 days. That is a bad idea. So it's a real shame. If anyone is around Cardiff South Wales area, the Penturk Hill race at the end of April, the last Tuesday in April, fantastic race. Just take a tenner down with you and go running up the highest point in Cardiff twice. It's great fun.
Nice.
How about you?
I have got a race. I've got Radda Trail half marathon in a couple of weeks. So
that's an excellent race, I hear.
Yeah. I couldn't do it last year because because I was doing my ultras. So I was really disappointed because it looked like it was very good. So yeah, looking forward to that. It's fairly close, like it's Radar, so it's fairly close to home. It'll be nice and easy. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Good for you.
There we go. Yeah.
And look at you doing long runs and everything.
I know. It's happening. It's starting to happen. Things are starting to happen. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this bullshit, please visit runningsbs.com to see the show notes and links from this episode and the whole back catalogue, as well as links to our Patreon, merch stores, and social medias.
Bye.
Bye! Je ne passe!